back to the channel. And I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but like I don't think Paragon 7 played the games. Because I watched the theory video. This video was kind of old. I think it was like 2 months ago or something that it got uploaded 2 or 3 months ago. And I got recommended it today. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm a Mass Effect fan. We just finished my like third playthrough of Mass Effect Andromeda on live stream. Had a real good time. I'm watching this. I watched plenty of theory videos before. Not all of them make too much sense, but you know they're grounded in Mass Effect reality. So you know you get to understand. So I watched like half this video, then I went back and I started thinking. I'm like, you couldn't have played the games and made this video and thought it was gonna be. It was gonna be like well received. It's so bad. Like it's so bad. Like from the beginning. Like from the jump, it was bad. But I'm like, okay, I just want to get inside your mind space because it's a theory video. You gotta get inside their mind space, trying to see what grounds they're crawling over to build this theory. And there's no ground. They're building this shit in thin air. And I'm like, everything they say up to this point, it gets worse. Because I've watched like more than half the video. I probably watched all the way up to like them talking about bringing Shepard back, and I was like, fuck nah, bro. But like, I watched this, and they start making like it gets baseless from the beginning, bro. They start talking like the motherfucking Protheans are the Jardan that created the Angaran, and I'm like, you didn't play the fucking game. You couldn't have played the game. There's no way you're a fan. At least a fan to the level of a content creator fan. I make Mass Effect content, not theory videos. But I make Mass Effect content. I talk about my theories, what I think, because I played through all these games. And I've watched and read the movie and the comic books. So I've done those things. I ain't read no novels or nothing, but like, I mean, I'm a deep enough fan that I can make content about, you know, fan shit. And Paragon 7, I would think, is a deep enough fan to not get basic shit like this completely discombobulated. Is so bad. Because they talk about the Protheans. And the Protheans could have fled the Andromeda and became the Jardan and created the Angaran. And I'm like, are we talking about the same Protheans from the Milky Way? The Protheans that literally conquered the entire Milky Way galaxy, subjugated every race that had intelligence to either be Prothean or they're done? Are we talking about those same Protheans? Because there's no fucking way you just said they created life to just give a cluster and they. Who the fuck are you kidding? Who are you? Who you have to be kidding yourself to kid how many people you had watched this fucking video? Because there's no goddamn way you believe that. There's no goddamn way you believe. If you played Mass Effect 3 and you talked to this nigga Javik, there's no goddamn way you believe that. And then to get to what the Jardan created, they created a whole race. Why would they not look Prothean? Protheans thought more eyes were better. Protheans could literally talk through mental, through telepathy, through touch, and through technology. They could speak to each other. Why the fuck was the Jadar so less advanced? Make it make sense. They were less advanced. They created life, but they created mindless machines. One fucking Prothean VI could scan the whole galaxy and know that the Reaper invasion is almost fucking done. How the fuck we just woke you up, my nigga? How do you know that the Reaper invasion almost fucking done? And that was a VI program, wasn't even an AI yet. There's no intelligence in Helios where the Jadar was. And then we have to get to the fucking timeline. Like, the timeline is so bad because during their war, remember, Liara said it took a couple hundred years, maybe 1,000 years for the Protheans to lose to the Reapers. The Protheans were fighting the Reapers for hundreds of years. So even if at one point in time, like they had the team building the relay to get to the Citadel, they had the team cryogenically freezing people, that shit failed, and then they had a team building arcs to send Protheans to Andromeda. Let's say that it was possible. It probably was. Why would they be less advanced when they get over there? Why would they be less advanced? That doesn't make fucking sense. That doesn't make sense in the slightest. And if they were already there, let's say they did go there, that was still 50,000 years before humanity even started building houses. We were still primitives when they were fighting the goddamn Reapers. So in 50,000 years, when humanity finally got to the point where they could see Andromeda, map out Helios, why was the Jadar not there? The Jardan, my bad. Why was the Jardan not there? Remember, if you played the fucking game, everything that they woke up to was not there the 600 years they were sleeping. Remember, when you go to Habitat 7 for the first time and you scan the fucking building, it says the building is 300 years old. If the Jardan is there for 50,000 years, how the fuck is the building only 300 years old? You didn't play the fucking game. That's why. And then it got so worse when they start talking about the fucking, what do you call it? The Scourge. Then they did this, and I'm like, yeah, you definitely didn't play the fucking game. And that's why I was on this part, because I'm like, you definitely didn't play the fucking game. Because you played the game, you know that the Jardan came to the Helios cluster to rebuild it. The Helios cluster was like full of dying systems. They start rebuilding the Helios cluster. That's why they created the Remnant. That's why they created the Angaran to live in Helios cluster. Because they were going to recreate it and then leave and watch them flourish. They were on some Reaper shit. But somebody showed up and went to war with the Jardan. If you played the game, you would know this. Somebody pulled up to the Jardan and shit on them. They got fucking bullied. Bullied so bad that they had to leave. In this video, they say the Scourge was a Jardan weapon, a Jardan invention. If you play the game, you know that the Jardan got hit with the Scourge. That the Scourge was literally hunting the Jardan technology, hunting the Remnant technology, destroying it, manipulating it, decimating whole planets. Jardan themselves said our weapons, our technology, our artificial planets, nothing can save us from these goddamn people. They didn't say what people. We never got to understand what people. But they said it themselves. Nothing is nothing is saving them from the fucking Scourge. The Scourge was such a crazy weapon, nothing could save them. So they fled. They left the Angaran high and dry. Why didn't the Scourge wipe out the Angaran? It wiped out the technology that Angaran inherited from the Jardan. That's why they had to restart civilization. That's why all their pods and stuff look fucking weird. They had to restart civilization over again. Because what they used was what the Jardan gave them. And then the Scourge came in and destroyed it all. And then they called the Scourge in this like, oh, it's just a dark energy cloud. That means you didn't play the game. Because we know, like, Mass Effect Andromeda, you investigate the Scourge. And you learn that the Scourge is a whole bunch of Mass Effect fields blowing up consistently all at the same time while converting every scrap of metal to element 0. We know that. You just play the game and you learn that the Scourge is biotic warps literally tearing shit apart and blowing up. It's not just dark matter. It's not just dark energy. It's so crazy that it was that fast. I knew this theory video was hot garbage. They didn't play the fucking game. And I'm like, I know we're content creators, you know, you're throwing ideas off the wall. But this shit was purposely bad. Or you just didn't play the games. You're like, either you're falsifying your knowledge, or you did this shit on purpose. Like, those are the only two outcomes I could think of at this moment in time. Because how did you get all of this shit so bad? Because if the timeline is telling anything, if BioWare can hold anything as a fucking timeline, when Andromeda left, when the Andromeda Initiative left, let me make that clear. When the Initiative launched the first couple shuttles, arcs, and they launched the Nexus went first. And then the arcs came after. Because the Nexus was already supposed to be there when the arc showed up. And then the Quarian arc, which is the last one, they mentioned it in this. I'm like, oh, they didn't know they have another arc. The Quarian arc came after every other arc left. Why? Because the Quarians were still building theirs. The Quarians were still building their arc when the humans left. That's why they were going to be 200 years behind. You learned that when you play the game, and I'm like, there's no fucking way you didn't play the game. You made this video because I'm like, you supposed to be a fan, bro. You representing the fandom right now, and you're throwing out bullshit. There's no goddamn way. There's no goddamn way. And I'm like, but back to the timeline, because I'm getting off track. If the timeline can hold any fucking weight at all, when the initiative left, when they launched their first arcs, the Jardan didn't fucking exist. The Remnant didn't exist. While they slept for 300 years, because they slept for 600, but 300 years into their journey, the Jardan showed up. They rebuilt Helios. Initiative is still asleep at this time. Somebody pulled up, attacked the Jardan, unleashed the fucking Scourge. The Jardan left, and then the Initiative showed up. That's why the Remnant buildings were only 200 years old. If that timeline shows up, then how the fuck were they supposed to be Prothean? And that's why I'm like, nah, it only gets worse, because the more you watch, the less grounds it stands on. It starts floating. And I'm like, where are you coming from? It's so bad, and it only gets worse. And I'm like, I'm a fan. I'm not even a super fan. I wouldn't even call myself a super fan. I just play the fucking games and enjoy myself. I read the comic books to just get some more. I'm not even a super fan. I'm not making theory videos. I'm not that fucking deep. But I at least know the basics, and the basic knowledge. Scrap this whole fucking theory video. Basic Mass Effect knowledge scraps this whole YouTube video. And I'm like, that's sad. That's sad. Anybody that watched it and like they don't have the basic knowledge, they probably think like, oh shit, this is big brain as fuck. But like, if you have basic Mass Effect knowledge, everything that happens in this video, I mean, everything I've seen happen in this video, I don't know how bad it gets, like getting Shepard back. I don't fucking care about that, because I would rather have Shep as doing something else in the afterlife, chilling with Garrus at the bar, than saving the fucking galaxy from the Jardan, who couldn't even protect themselves in their own cluster that they built. Get the fuck out of here, bro. And I'll see y'all in the next one.